You don't lack money, you lack psychological leverage. For too long, we've been told that wealth is about opportunity, luck, or even just hard work. But what if I told you that the true foundation of wealth and power isn't external, but deeply internal? It's about upgrading your psychological frameworks. If you're ready to fundamentally shift how you think about success, subscribe now. Because what you're about to learn isn't motivational fluff. It's a deep dive into the psychological mechanisms that truly build empires. Let's start with the most fundamental truth. Your self-concept sets your behavioral ceiling. This isn't just a motivational point. It's rooted in self-concept theory and identity-based behavior. The core idea is simple. You do not outperform your identity for long. Think about it. If deep down you see yourself as average, unlucky, or undervalued, your brain, subconsciously, will self-sabotage any higher outcomes. It's a protective mechanism, keeping you within the bounds of what you believe you are. Wealth, true, sustainable wealth, doesn't begin with a new investment strategy or a better job. It starts when your identity upgrades first. If you identify as someone who struggles with money, who can't catch a break, or who isn't good enough, then your actions will inevitably align with that belief. You'll find reasons to avoid opportunities, to procrastinate on important tasks, or to settle for less than you deserve. The power implication here is profound. Raise your identity, and you automatically raise your standards. Raise your standards, and your behavior will follow. And when your behavior elevates, your outcomes become inevitable. You are not poor because of money. You are poor because your identity has limits. Break those limits and you unlock a new level of potential. Building on the idea of self-concept, let's explore the locus of control, a psychological base that profoundly determines your wealth potential. Do you believe your life is primarily controlled by external forces or by your own actions? An external mindset blames the economy, blames their background, blames bad timing. They see themselves as victims of circumstance, powerless to change their situation. An internal mindset, however, sees themselves as the cause. They take ownership, adjust their strategy, and believe they can influence their outcomes. Research consistently shows that an internal locus of control correlates directly with higher achievement, greater resilience, and yes, more wealth. When you believe you are in control, you act like it. You seek solutions, you adapt, and you persist. The power implication is clear. Control your perception, and you control your direction. If you constantly attribute your failures to external factors, you surrender your power. But if you embrace the idea that your choices and efforts are the primary drivers of your destiny, you reclaim that power. This shift from things happen to me to I make things happen is a critical step in building both wealth and power. If this is already shifting how you see yourself, hit that like button. And stay with me until the very end, because the final principles we're about to discuss will truly change everything. Now, let's talk about emotional regulation and how it signals dominance. In any social hierarchy, whether it's a boardroom, a negotiation, or even a casual conversation, the calmest person is almost always perceived as having the highest status. Why? Because reactive behavior signals insecurity. When someone is easily flustered, quick to anger, or visibly anxious, it suggests a lack of control, both over themselves and their environment. Wealth, in its essence, flows toward stability and trust. People want to do business with, invest in, and follow those who exude calm confidence. Think of the most powerful figures, they rarely lose their composure. They maintain a steady demeanor, even in the face of chaos. This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about regulating them, choosing how and when to express them, rather than being controlled by them. The power implication is clear. Calm equals control. Control equals authority. And authority, my friends, attracts leverage. When you are the calmest person in the room, you control the room. You dictate the pace, you influence the mood, and you command respect. This psychological mechanism is a cornerstone of true power. Next, let's delve into delayed gratification and how it builds strategic power. Our brains are wired for immediate reward. That hit of dopamine from instant gratification is powerful. But high-status individuals, those who build lasting wealth and power, learn to override this primal instinct. They understand that short-term dopamine leads to long-term weakness, while long-term discipline leads to exponential gain. This isn't just about saving money. It's about strategic patience. It's about investing time, effort, and resources into things that won't pay off for months or even years, knowing that the compound effect will eventually create an insurmountable advantage. Short-term thinkers stay employees, chasing the next paycheck, the next quick fix. Long-term thinkers build empires, laying foundations that will support generations. The power implication is undeniable. Strategic patience compounds advantage. It allows you to make decisions that others can't, to see opportunities that others miss, and to build structures that others can only dream of. This is the ultimate leverage in a world obsessed with instant results. Moving on, status perception controls opportunity access. Humans unconsciously rank each other. Higher perceived status gets better opportunities, more trust, more attention, and better deals. Status is behavioral, not financial. Manage your perception, and you gain leverage. Finally, beware of scarcity bias. When the brain feels lack, creativity drops, risk tolerance drops, and long-term thinking collapses. An abundance mindset expands problem-solving capacity. Expansion thinking creates options, and options create power. Comment Power Built if you understand this shift. Subscribe if you're serious about mastering psychology, not chasing motivation. Remember, wealth is behavioral. Power is psychological. Both are built internally first.